So here I am. All right. Okay. So you can see here they want us to discuss, that is August 2023. You don't have to open the paper. August 2023, question number 3. These are contemporary issues and emerging trends. Discuss 3 challenges that organizations face while adopting blockchain technology in their operations. So without looking at my solutions, you guys doing your own research, what do you think are the key challenges that companies outside here would face when they are trying to come up with these blockchain solutions? Can somebody in this case here give me only 2 points? Yeah, like in this case here, lack of technical know-how. Lack of technical know-how. Yes, so lack of knowledge. I mean, how many knowledgeable people do we have who will be able to address? So lack of knowledge, I love that. Resistance to change, yes, Oscar. Resistance to change, and I've been wanting to call this guy called Oscar. I forget, Oscar, you need to forgive me. But immediately after this, we shall talk. So in this case here, resistance to change. Like I sent you some clip of somebody, actually that clip was sent to me by a colleague of yours in this class, where some young man was trying to say that if you would want to eliminate corruption in Kenya, let's connect things up using blockchain. The moment you tell these great ninjas outside that would want to eliminate corruption in Kenya, and then you tell them that you want to eliminate it using blockchain, they will not want that blockchain to be implemented. They will really resist it. That is why when they say that they would want this blockchain to come and help Kenyans here on matters of land, you know, this Artisasa, the Artisasa, ladies and gentlemen, was supposed to be purely a blockchain thing. But now they ended up just giving us a useless thing, which people are still able to get inside, and they change things. All right. So in this case here, lack of knowledge, resistance to change, ladies and gentlemen. The concept of, in this case here, interoperability. Interoperability means what here? You know, when people buy systems, like I worked for a systems company, which is called Arrow, a group consolidation software company. I left there just the other year. I mean, so many guys wanted to acquire our group consolidation software as a standalone software. But every time they were asking us, is your system a system that can be integrated with SAP? Can I bring your system standalone? I'm using it to do group consolidation, but I don't want to discard my QuickBooks. So in this case here, is this system a system that can easily operate with other systems? So you get like blockchain. When you bring blockchain, you may be forced in this case here to have everything being what here? Being blockchain. Everything may be a blockchain like that. So you guys have very good points here. Very good points here. Inadequate resources. It must be very expensive to maintain this thing. Regulatory and the legal challenges. Remember we said that there are no serious regulators. There are no serious regulators here. Blockchain is decentralized. So because of that lack of regulations, these hackers, these bad people, the conmen, are able to come and develop something that looks very close to what we have in the cryptocurrency. Remember, cryptocurrency works under blockchain, in blockchain. Then they are able to infiltrate, and they now make the entire thing look bad. They make the entire thing look bad. Thank you so much. At least you guys have got a high level knowledge about those challenges. Like I can see somebody telling me technological challenges. Yes, technical challenges. I mean, you need programmers. You need programmers. All right. So the only point you guys never mentioned here, like now we have this scalability. Scalability is a very, very important thing whenever you talk of systems. Like for example, this Vimeo, you see us storing your videos on Vimeo. Vimeo and the AWS, the Amazon system, these systems are very scalable. I remember we started paying Vimeo 30,000 shillings for putting a few videos. All right. Right now, given what you guys are consuming, the amount of videos you guys are watching, we are paying 1.2 million Kenya shillings every year to Vimeo. And then we have LMS, is also scalable. I mean, the more the students, the more, in this case here, we pay. And that is why if you have ever been very keen When you guys finish, like you finish your last paper, when you finish your last exam like this, you must have realized that you normally switch off the LMS. Have you ever seen us switching off the LMS very fast? Is there anybody who has ever noticed that? You know, so many guys call me, Mwalimu, why have you switched? It's because the more you consume, the more we pay. So this blockchain in most cases is not that scalable. You can't in this, it's not that elastic. It's not that elastic. It's not that elastic. So we will need systems that are what that you can scale. The more the usage, the more. Then you guys forgot, which question are we doing here? It's August 2023. It's here. It's August 2023, question 3A. Challenges that organizations face while adopting blockchain technology. So there is only one, which I would want to bring to your resource consumption. Somebody has mentioned this. You know, blockchain, ladies and gentlemen, for example, if you're using this blockchain to mine the Bitcoins, you know, Bitcoins, you mine them using very high-end computers and a blockchain like that. You need a lot of energy. You need a lot of electricity, and high-end machines. That is why when I get some of my old classmates, I try to mentor them. I mean, you get an old classmate telling you that I'm a miner, that I mine Bitcoins. Which facility can you use in Kenya to mine Bitcoin? It takes ages here to mine even one coin like this. It's expensive. And actually, there even you look at, if you happen to look at online, you'll see so many people fighting these Bitcoins. The Ethereums, people are fighting them simply because extracting them from wherever they're being extracted from needs a lot of electricity, which in this case here contributes to global warming. So resources needed. Somebody had actually mentioned that. Resources, we need heavy resources, high-level resources, which are not available. That's a big challenge. All right. If you allow Mwalimu here to move on, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be able to integration. I've already spoken about integration. Go to August 2021, question number 1C. Now, I saw you mentioning something to do with volatility. The blockchain itself is not that volatile. No. Blockchain is good. What is volatile are these the cryptocurrencies are very volatile. Describe 4 factors that could significantly impact on the price of the crypto. Like the other day, a Bitcoin, there is a hand raised up here. Sorry, let me just, oh, it's me. I need to drop it down, lower the hand. Great. So the other day, Bitcoin was going for 2 million Kenya shillings. If you check today, Bitcoin is worth 6 million. It's really highly volatile. Can somebody in this case here give me these factors that will be able to determine the price of a Bitcoin? The price of a Bitcoin. It's very, very easy. I mean, I even wonder why students don't write points here. It's just like any product. Like we have the concept of demand and supply, yes. Demand and supply. If the demand is high, the price goes up. If supply in this case here is high, the price goes down. So availability is the same as supply. I like what Lynn is telling me there. Availability. If it is too much available, then automatically the price will go down. Exchange rate between what and what? Remember, cryptocurrency, really, we're not looking at, not unless you give me a very good explanation there. I mean, give me the obvious points. I like what Oscar is giving me, the historical performance. Historical performance is very, very important in terms of, how much somebody will be willing to pay for a Bitcoin. Like we know that the Bitcoin is a little bit stable. It has been growing steadily like that. These guys are giving me very good points. I'll wait for, because I know there are many great points. One of them that you should never ever forget is the technological developments. So if you have some Bitcoin, some cryptocurrency that is highly secure, that uses, in this case here, sophisticated technology, advanced technology, then automatically that one will be more expensive, All right. Like now we know that Bitcoin is really regarded to be more secure, in terms of technology. Some other coins, like the others we call altcoins, we have Binance. Those are useless things that are normally hacked here every other day. So if I know that this thing can be hacked anytime, then I'll not be willing to invest in it too much money. The price of that thing will go down. Then we have, ladies and gentlemen, this concept of the economic factors. Remember economic factors like inflation. Like right now, who in Kenya for sure will be able to buy a Bitcoin at 6 million, a whole coin for 6 million? Not unless you're a thief. Most of us, if we afford, like there is somebody who told me here that they have 0.17 of a Bitcoin. I mean, right now, there are so many things that are pressing Kenyans, which in this case here will be beckoning the attention of Kenyans here. So when the economy is doing very well, then automatically people will be able to have surpluses, which will be able to invest. So the economic metrics here, the economic performance, what we could also call the macroeconomic environment. When the macro is doing very well, you know, when we talk of macro, we are looking at the pastel. Macro, we are looking at the pastel macro. We are looking at the pastel political. So for example, given what the Gen Zs are doing in Kenya, do you think serious investors can think of investing in Kenya right now? Serious investors who are able to see 10, 20 years down the line? No, these guys already know that Kenya now is going the South Africa way. Remember South Africa, I mean, things there are quite volatile now, given what here the hustling community. The hustling community, when they see somebody passing around and he has got a belly, big tummy, like Aura's tummy here, they think that you are a man. Like South Africa is very dangerous. Some of those suburbs like Soweto, people will kill you. All right. So the moment in this case here, people start realizing that there is an uprising where the hustlers will come and demand their fair share. You know, that person who coined this thing of hustlers, he never knew the harm he was doing to us. That was a bad terminology. So in this case here, pastel, yes, we have here political stability or instability. All right. It has technological advancement. If, for example, our technology is really advanced, I mean, automatically, like now, Kenya is really an ICT hub. Mugala muue, lakini haki yake mpe, kama kusema ukweli kabisa ni vile Ruto anajitetea sana paka watu wanamdoubt, lakini nikimsikiza sana. That guy, mambo kama ya ICT, that guy is a genius. Nikimsikiza ni vile unajua anaongea sana pia. That guy is what here is a genius. Close to Brazil, thank you very much. And is a genius in terms of IT. Whatever he's doing, like the other day in Kajiado, right now they are pulling really a very big cable, which should be able to capture all the way up to Tanzania. Very big cable like that. So they are really positioning Kenya to be an IT hub. Those of you who have traveled outside Kenya, for example, if you go to great places with even very good, let me just shut this video. Okay. Yeah. Anatufinya. Goja wewe. Stanley, wacha siasa. So we have here politics will affect prices of things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other thing that you're supposed to quote there, we have this one here. We have, of course, in this case here, the market manipulations and what are speculations. So, you know, for example, the government, like now, don't be cheated that the government did very well. That it was the government out of, for example, their best performance, that the dollar rate became, in this case, better for Kenyans. That the Kenya shilling value appreciated. No, it's because of manipulation. Number one, we got so many dollars when we got that international loan. So we had so many dollars coming to Kenya. Right? So, of course, before the government repaid back, what did they do? They injected these dollars to the market here. They took these dollars here to the reserves in Central Bank of Kenya. So we had so many dollars in the country. I mean, there is a way as a government you can manipulate. All right? So even this particular crypto, you can have, for example, if the government has an interest, the government can straight away start, it becomes a player. If the government becomes a player, then if it's buying the share price, the cryptocurrency will go up. So that manipulation is normally very, very key. Of course, it's not centralized, but you see if they start being a player, then automatically. And then we have, of course, adoption. Once we hear, like, for example, right now, Bitcoin. We know that Bitcoin, for example, Tesla has accepted now Bitcoins fully as a medium of payment. We have now Visa, if you read the other month, Visa card. Now they're integrating, in this case here, Visa with what here, with Bitcoin. So that now you can pay with the Bitcoins here from whatever part of the country, whatever part of this globe you are in. So automatically, the moment we get these, especially big global giants, going for some a cryptocurrency, then that cryptocurrency will become expensive. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I don't want to take a lot of your time here. Today, I would want us to finish this, and we should be able to go and sleep early today. I want to give you permission to go and sleep early. Have you been able to pick like 3 key points which are able to define the price of a cryptocurrency? Any 3? Please write them to me very fast there. Any 3 points, any 3, in this case here, factors that affects the price of a crypto. I mean, I can see so many: technological developments, government regulations, economic factors, the demand, political instability or stability, manipulation, market manipulation. I love that. You can manipulate. Great, thank you so much. Macroeconomic factors. All right. We forgot about this media influence. You see, media can make you, media can kill you. Like, I don't know why our government is really forgetting this thing. Like now, do you think TV Citizen is doing a very, very big favor to the Kenya government? Kenya government and Citizen TV, are they really working very well together? Like they'll bring Kindiki like yesterday, and then they play a very bad video. You know, things are really changing in Kenya. During more times, you could not do that. More times, a minister, you take a minister through that kind of a debate, through that kind of an interview, you finish like this, you go to Nyayo House chambers for torture. All right. So in this case here, the media publicity. So if you buy acres and acres of newspaper pages and then keep on advertising this Bitcoin, go and manipulate those guys to start talking about Bitcoin. Remember, even a lot of corruption that happens, and then we have members of the Republic losing out their money. Normally the shoutings are done by media. Kama ukisikia kitu kama hii mashamba maguta, wenda kwa hizi Kikuyu radio stations, unasikia jamaa wanakuja wanaongea na kuambia this is the land. If it's Maina Kageni, that you've got this, if you buy this today, you become a multimillionaire in the next. And the way is really, really, really blessed with a good voice. The moment you hear that, you run to it. Once you get into it, you get, in this case here, into a situation where, I mean, the things they promised are not there, you lose your money. So media publicity will always lead to an increase in the demand of a product, which leads to increase in price. Too much freedom. Too much freedom. Yeah. All right. So look at August 2022, question number 4. They wanted us to highlight advantages of big data analytics in the financial sector or project finance. So first of all, I would want you guys to define what is big data to you. What is big data to you? And you give me 5 characteristics of big data. What is big data? Somebody go to ChatGPT, go to wherever. Let's try to discuss here. What is big data? From wherever. What's big data? Don't tell me it's data that is maduong. Big, like, no. It has various characteristics, 5 of them. We normally talk of the 5 V's. 5 V's of big data. Let me just put it here so that somebody can be doing research on this. 5 V's of big data. You can't define it. No, before you go there, first of all, tell me, what is big data? What is the best definition you've gotten for big data? And then now you fuse in those particular 5 V's into the definition. What is big data? You can see what Paul is telling us there: extremely large and a diverse collection of structured, unstructured, and a semi-structured data that continues to grow, that continues to grow, that continues to grow, that continues to grow, that continues to grow. Exponentially over time. Can we write that definition the way this gentleman is writing it there? Let's write this definition. That we have in this case here, the data must be voluminous. It must be large. It must be diverse, coming in form of structured, unstructured, semi-structured data that continues to grow every other day, every other day, every other day, every other day. Please write that down. I've shared it. I've shared it. Extremely, say big data dash, extremely large data and diverse, extremely large and diverse collections of structured, unstructured, and a semi-structured data that continues to grow exponentially over time. Once you finish writing like that, kindly put some thumbs up. Kindly put some thumbs up. And then, ladies and gentlemen, after that, go ahead giving me now the 5 V's of big data as you describe each one of them. So if you tell me volume, you must tell me what volume is about for this big data. So don't tell me volume. I want you to say volume dash. What does it mean? The question you're doing is this one here. It is August 2022, where they wanted us to highlight advantages of big data analytics in the financial sector. So somebody is giving me the 5 V's of big data. They've told me volume, that volume is the amount of data available. For it to be big data, the volume must be large. Thank you so much, Ken. So the volume must be large. You can imagine, like for example, EABL. The type of data that EABL is able to, get from the public every day. Look at, for example, its Facebook handles, right? There are times in this case here, for example, they send questionnaires. Like, what kind of drinks would you want us to manufacture for you? So they get like multiples, Likert scale, 1 to 5. So those are structured. There are times in this case here, for example, they'll get somebody doing emoji, even others are crying, others, those are semi-structured. And still we have somebody at the back end who wants to do what to interpret that. All right. So this data must be very structured. Velocity is about speed. The data is generated at an unprecedented speed. Unprecedented speed. Velocity is about speed. Velocity is about speed. Velocity. Variety, big data, comes in various formats. It comes in various formats, variety. It can come structured, unstructured. It can come as an XML, HTML, comes in variety, various formats, variety. Otherwise, if you are only getting, for example, your big data just from Facebook alone, that's why you're getting information just from Facebook, then that can't be big data. It must be data coming from space X. It must be data inatukanwa kama sasa serikali ya KK. Inatukanwa pande zote. Si kwa Facebook, sio wapi. Ukienda TikTok, unasikia mwingine alikuwa akiimba sijui mimi naitwa nani na natata nani, anaweka tena president ndani. Ati mimi ni muongo. Anakuja na tupia tena Ichungwa. Unaona, hiyo ni big data, yani inatoka kwa TikTok, inatoka hapo. Variety, 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 variety. Ni shida. Variety, variety. Gen Z. Yeah, I mean TikTok. Actually, TikTok is after Facebook. TikTok is where we draw second generator for RCM in terms of business. Generates a lot of business for us. TikTok is good. TikTok is good. All right. Yeah, siona social life niko nayo. Siona social life niko nayo. It can only be called big data if you are able to derive value out of it. Value. And you can only say that it's valuable, you're able to get value out of it, if you're able to get insights that you are able to use to make decisions. So like the kind of space that Dr. Ruto has been in today, I mean, that is a very good platform for big data. I mean, if he was able to write, I mean, today, I've got a lot of admiration for our president. I mean, even if he was dodging a little bit here and there, but he was able to take keynote. So I'm so sure the insights he has taken from there, if he is able to utilize them, if you're able to utilize them, then we talk of what here? We talk of value. Value, because I'm able to use the insights out of this big data to make decisions. So do you see the president firing Linturi? Do you see the president firing our Minister of Agriculture, CS Agriculture? Then that can't be big data. That can't be big data, because now then so you want to tell me that all the advice that these young men provided today fell onto deaf ears? Then that can't be big data, because big data, ladies and gentlemen, big data and deaf. No. Dell, they can't beat me. They can't beat me because they know I'm their father, and I'm just using those stories to ensure that they understand this topic. Otherwise, you know me, I'm not political. Yeah. So I strongly, let me tell you something, because I speak with these people. Let me tell you something. I'm in a club, although I don't get even time to go there. I'm in a club where I meet these people. I meet most of them there. If there is anything that has scared these people to death, to the extent that some of them will even start resigning, it is this Generation Z thing. Let me tell you, it is a Generation Z thing. So don't think that this thing is a small thing. If it was a small thing, if, for example, the president knew that he can easily bring it down by using policemen, then he would not be panicking to even appear in these things. So it's a very, very serious thing. Trust you me. It's a very serious thing. And these people are pushing. Yeah, so it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing. But unaona kama hiyo salary increase. So ladies and gentlemen, what have we said about these 5 V's? Is there somebody now who can write these 5 V's without so the first one is volume. There is one that you guys forgot. Veracity. There is nobody who defined veracity. Do you know what veracity is? Veracity. If you get any lady calling themselves, in this case, you're going by that name, veracity. If you get any lady, you know, you'll get, for example, some ladies called veracity, others are called felicity. Veracity, felicity. Yeah. So it is about, in this case here, accuracy. It's about reliability. It's about faithful representation. So it can only be called big data if the data is accurate, the data is reliable. So those ladies called veracity, those ladies are very reliable. They make very good wives. Felicity, they make very good wives. So there is a young man, if you get a lady called veracity, marry them like tomorrow. Marry them like tomorrow. conformity with truth. Yeah, veracity is about conformity. Where's Sylvia? Wewe uko na chuki. Sylvia uko na chuki. And that is just but a name. Where's Sylvia? We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, then let's get back to the banking sector. How do you think will the banking sector use this big data? How will the banking sector use big data? Of course, they'll use big data to make decisions. They'll use big data for risk management. Risk management. To monitor trends. I love that. To monitor trends. I love that. Dan Wangoi tells me that they will use big data, what is coming to them, ladies and gentlemen, for purposes of credit rating. Even customer classifications, yes. Customer classifications. Banks use, ladies and gentlemen, big data to really even know what type of products they're going to produce. Listen, initially, if you are there during our days, those days, when we had, like, for example, 1 or 2 equity banks in Nairobi town, we used to queue like a whole day. Banking used to be a whole day kind of an activity, a whole day. But now they started realizing that there are people who come, even right now, there are people who come on that revolving door. They simply come and revolve with the door. Once they see how big the queue is, they don't join the queue. They simply revolve and go away. Those are busy people. And then they started, because now it's big data, they are collecting data all over their branches. They started realizing that the people who are turning away without joining their queues were too many. And then now, out of that big data, they were able to come up with a product such that if you go there and you think you are very, very busy, you don't have to queue. They have express counters. So you can go to an express counter. For example, if it's Stanbic, they have express counters like at their Westlands branch. You go, that's why I like Stanbic. So you go there when you want to, of course, make withdrawals. So you go to Stanbic branch, so you go to the express counter. So remember, as the other guys who are queuing are paying 50 shillings per transaction, you who is going to the express counter will pay 1,500. You'll be given a cup of coffee, but again, remember, you are very, very busy. Ya unapewa paka cookies na maziwa, kama unajua cookies na maziwa, right? Ya unakuwa served vizuri, but you pay, there is a price you pay for that. And then, of course, at the end of the month, your account is up there. You'll end up paying like 3,000 or 4,000 every month. So even if you don't come to do any transaction there, all right? So those guys, that's what we call big data. Now remember, some time back, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, prestige branches, yes. Some time back, I did something called agronometry. I think I've done so many things. I even don't know why I've never been given this medal by government. When you guys take over government, the Generation Z, please remember that Dr. Aura needs a medal. He has done quite a lot for this country. Now, listen. Like, for example, producing great accountants. Now, listen. So I did what we call agronometry a long time ago in 2010. Agronometry basically is the study of how a company's products can be tailored to meet needs of disadvantaged, to meet needs of disadvantaged groups. If, for example, you do a product like RCM, if we do a product, and then, of course, this product we have done suits, people are blind, disabled, then automatically will be said to be doing very well in terms of agronomics. Oh, is it internet for Adan alone, or is it for everybody? Are you guys able to hear me? Adan will great, and Adan will have to watch the video later. I'm sorry, Adan. All right. So in 2010, around 2009, we had a disadvantaged group in form of women. Women were not drinking EABL's beers in 2009, 2010 beginning. And then now they sent some of us to go and do research for them, to collect data for them. It must have been big data because we had people all over going to all these clubs, big clubs, small clubs. Whenever we got a lady in the club, even if they were drinking water like this, we were requesting them to fill our questionnaires. And the questions were only 5 of them, very simple of them. We simply wanted to know why they were not drinking something hard, why they were not drinking EABL's products. And those ladies were very forthright. They gave us information. They told us, for example, they would have wanted to drink Tusker, but when they tried it, there's a time they tried it, they found it to be very bitter, not to mention Guinness. They found it to be very, very bitter. All right. And that is why since 2011, 2012, they started making sweeter beers, sweet beers. They started making sweet beers. So I don't know which type of beers are sweet. Is there somebody who can give us an example of beers outside here which are sweet? Somebody is quoting Guarana. Sweet beers. Like the cider, the black ice. Ruth anasema where we don't drink. Even me, I don't drink. But now I have to give you real life examples. I mean, people mention these things. I don't know Gilbey's. Is Gilbey sweet really? I don't know. Is Gilbey sweet? Kingfish, I don't know. So since that time, they started making beers which are water, which are sweet. Some ladies complained about the size of the bottles. They said, this bottle, it's so big. Remember, during those days, we did not even have issues of glasses. People used to drink from the bottle, right from the source. So they said, go and make for us what we call stout bottles. I mean, even the color, wakasema hata color ikitu nakaa kama vitu vingine ya punda mbaya. Wakasema pana. So wakaanza to make something which is green, like that. Wakaanza to make green, something like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, big data, we must know how to make use of data at the end of the day to make right decisions. At the end of the day, in this case, you have to be innovative. And that is why I like some students are saying there that banks will use big data for innovation purposes. They'll use big data for what here? For predictive purposes. They should be able to predict. They should be able to predict. So when you asked about advantages of big data, like fraud detection, yes. Yeah, they'll use this big data to detect fraud. You know, I'm telling you, if there are companies that suffer, banks suffer quite a lot. There is a ninja somewhere today, I can tell you today, who is in some hotel, not even 1 or 2. They're simply thinking of how do we hack onto Equity's account. Equity's bank, these online systems here. All right. Business processes, optimization, automation, yes. Anti-money laundering, I love that. Anti-money laundering. You can use, ladies and gentlemen, this big data to even get to know your customers. Even for you to be able to know, like, what amounts are we going to be having in our branches every weekend? I mean, it's about studying their behavior, customer behavior, risk management. I love risk management, to manage your risks, yes. Oh, great. Yeah. Novida. Okay, great. Novida is very, very sweet. But remember now, Novida is not beer, but we shall overcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, it doesn't have to be like a bank. It can be any business. So big data, in terms of our advantages, how do we make use of this? I will use this big data to predict whichever data. I'll use this big data for risk management. I'll use this big data for planning, budgeting. All right. Like right now, the government is really thinking about Kenya 2030. Although, of course, that was really, people are not so keen with it. Like Kibaki used to be very keen about it. Why? Because in 2030, we shall be about 70 million Kenyans or more. So the infrastructure that we have will be able to support us. International disaster. All right, international disaster. So it must be really, I mean, we need, like if you go, I told you the other day, if you go to Dubai, I mean, Dubai, things are good. Simply because these guys have an AI ministry. And this AI ministry, if you go, like now, let me just try getting something here. Let me try getting something here for you to see what is happening in Dubai. Dubai data center. I mean, you are able to know so many things. Dubai is, when I retire, so I'm working so hard. I would want to really God to bless me to have a very good house and residence, of course, in Dubai. In Dubai. Just a minute. If you want to know like how many visitors have come into Dubai, I mean, the moment you get into Dubai, going to any hotel, I mean, they know where you're going. They know that you have got this visitor. All right. They're really making use of this big data, even like how they manage their traffic jams. Not like in Kenya here, where we have, in this case here, policemen on the road asking for bribes. There, if, for example, the AI senses that this road is quite heavy, it will start automatically diverting vehicles coming to other routes automatically. And what made me very happy when I was in Dubai, I mean, is their healthcare system. The healthcare system, once you go to any of their hospitals, I mean, all the records, of course, I know these companies, hospitals in Kenya, they're also trying to, I mean, ape them, but they can't match them. Like when you go to Aga Khan, Aga Khan, for example, you see a physician. So this physician is able to capture your data. So you, like, this send you to the lab. You don't go with physical things moving around. So when you go to the lab, you simply tell them, my name is Jay Aura. They're able to get your records there. They're able to know what they should be able to, I mean, if it's blood, which test the doctor said. After there, you go to the pharmacy. Now in Dubai, it's quite different. These guys, of course, will be able to get your fingerprints or your facial expression. Hello, are we together? I lost you guys. Great, I'm sorry for that. Okay, great. So, I mean, those guys, they are really good. They are really good in terms of how they are running their country. It's a monarchy system. Over there, the king and the queen, those guys have got what here? Those guys have a lot of say. And the countries that have got queen and the kings, they are better, they are much better run than like our democracies here. I'm telling you, if you go to Sweden today, they have king, queen. Actually, they are normally led by the queen, but you know you must have a king by the side, right? Those countries, like now in Dubai, they have 17 ministries, very serious ministries, and they report to the queen and the king, of course. And then the ruler, they call them rulers. They make decisions, and they never go wrong because they use, in this case here, data to make decisions. They use data to make it. So for planning, for even organizing, for controlling operations, all those are points you can quote whenever you're asked about uses of big data. Use of big data. So because you have answers, ladies and gentlemen, I would request that you allow me to go straight out to the next question. So the next question here is asking us, it's May 2019, question number 2A. They're calling it an emerging issue. I don't believe it's an emerging issue because now we have been having unclaimed financial assets authority for over 10 years. Unclaimed financial assets authority over 10 years. Is there somebody who has ever heard about unclaimed financial assets authority? Anybody who has ever heard about them? Yeah, what do they do? What do they do? Unclaimed financial assets authority, what do they do? Is anybody? Fine, you've heard they really advertise even on the dailies, even on the TVs, they advertise. What do they do? Even from the word financial assets authority, I'll be able to tell so many things. Unclaimed. Yeah, they manage unclaimed assets on behalf of government. Unclaimed financial assets. Yeah, they collect these unclaimed assets. They collect unclaimed financial assets. They don't collect land. Financial assets like shares. Custodians of unclaimed financial assets. They recover and manage unclaimed financial assets on behalf of the government. Receive, safeguard, invest, disburse unclaimed financial assets. So I would want us to write this. This is a very good point. This is extremely a very good point. I would want us to write this. I would want us to write this. You know, ladies and gentlemen, especially in Africa, this thing of people having secret assets is a big, big thing. I'm telling you, if there are women who are married here, you will be surprised, like 99.99% of them, they have, let me just lower my tone a little bit so that your husbands can't hear this. Let me lower my voice a little bit. They must be having, in this case here, land somewhere that their husbands knows nothing. They know nothing about them. True or false? They have a title deed that they would not want even the husband to. I mean, they're in love, remember. They like each other. They don't have any problem, but you'll always get, in this case here, some of them having something that they will not want their husbands to know. Ladies who are here, please talk to me. Talk to me. Is that true, or am I cheating? Is it true? Mthiga is saying false. Mthiga is saying false. Yeah, you see, Maureen knows. Very much true. Our moms are the custodians, yes. Anything can happen. Alafu narukwa mchana. Yeah, I like for the dark days. For a rainy day. So, and it's not only land. Now, of course, you'll get also some men here who will die, even women, I mean. They have never given anybody their M-Pesa pins, nothing. Actually, there are people do not know even whether their M-Pesas have money. So when, for example, they die, Safaricom will stay with this M-Pesa money for how long before they hand it over to Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority? Because Safaricom can't stay with that money forever. It's not allowed. Financial assets, they have a maximum duration beyond which they have to transfer that asset, to financial Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. How many years? 7 years, yes. Maximum. Of course, the thing is, before you transfer this thing to UFAA, you must try your best to reach out to the next of kin. The next of kin perhaps has also died. So you try correspond. Once it hits year 7, beginning of year 8, you take that money to UFAA. So I like the concept. Now, Sherry is asking a very good question. Once that money is transferred to UFAA, remember UFAA, from what these guys have told me, is that UFAA is the one that now unites those assets with their owners now. They start looking at if it's Benson Aura, who is my father, who died without informing us about some assets here. So they start looking at who are the children of Benson Aura. So they start reaching out. But of course, this being Africa, trust you me, there are very few people who would go their way out there to start tracing. Yeah. If no one comes for it, it becomes government property. It becomes government property. But they try their best in terms of advertising. I liked, in this case here, this student who told me that they will get these unclaimed financial assets from banking institutions, from, for example, Nairobi Stock Exchange. They get those financial assets, unclaimed ones. Then they invest. As they wait for the owner, the true owner, to come, that amount must be invested. In this case here, UFAA has a duty to report. Every year they must report. They must give us income statements. They must give us balance sheets, etc. The other day, they published the names in the newspaper. You'll be surprised even yourself. Just take yourself one of the fine days to UFAA and give them your ID number. You'll be surprised. You could be having an asset there, which you should have picked like yesterday, which has been lying with them. Sylvia, yes, how do they post this on their books, and yet it is not what their assets? Remember, they must also be having their own assets. Those guys must be having like a building here and there. And then, of course, these monies they're getting, holding them on behalf of clients here, their liabilities. Alan, I'm not so sure of this. How long does it take before it becomes government property? That we have to research. But for your exam, yeah, you can just pop in there and ask. You'll be surprised. Some of you, if you walk in there like on Monday, some of you will come thanking me and give me a percentage of that money. 10%. You'll be surprised even your great-grandfather left something for you and you guys weren't aware. All right. So you can see collection and safeguarding of unclaimed assets, public awareness under education, facilitation of claims. Of course, they process claims, record keeping and reporting, very, very important, you guys. So the last question for the day, and then I leave you guys. I promised you guys today we are going to have a short but very interesting class. May 2018, question number 1A. May 2018, question number 1A. The objective of corporate governance system are to eliminate or mitigate conflicts of interest among stakeholders, particularly between managers and shareholders, and to ensure that the assets of the company are used in the best interest of the investors and other stakeholders required. In the context of the above statement, discuss 4 core attributes of an effective corporate governance system. Ladies and gentlemen, like in the American now corporate governance, we are using what we call Sarbanes rule. You can search for it later, Sarbanes rule. Very, very big rule. Kerry Odanga says, I doubt if I have. What unnecessary excitement. Great. Great. Now, remember this corporate governance became very big in America because of the corporate scandals. Is there anybody who is able to remember the biggest corporate scandal that happened in the US? Biggest corporate scandal in the US. The one that led to one of the biggest auditing firms collapsing. Remember, they used to be Big 5. Now we have them Big 4. Enroll. Thank you very much, Alan. Enroll. So Enron basically collapsed because we never had sufficient corporate governance rules. Or if they were there, they were not being followed. Remember, corporate governance rules are those rules by which a corporate is directed and controlled, by which a corporate is directed and controlled. All those rules that you have, internal control systems that you have, through which you are able to direct and control a business, we call them corporate governance. Governed. To govern is to direct, it is to control. So remember, Enroll was a telecommunications company, which was also big in the energy sector. These guys were able to employ about 20,000 employees in a week. I mean, it was a behemoth of an institution, big institution, Enroll. So the owners, husband and wife, became excited like Kerry. Now money was coming in, but you see, this money is also funny. The more you get, the more you want. The more you get, the more you want. So they thought of crafting a scandal of stealing money from prospective shareholders. So they brought in Arthur and Anderson, who were their auditors, told their auditors would want to do an initial public offering, but we want you to do what we call window dressing. Window dressing, Arthur Anderson did very well. They were able to window dress. They were able, in this case here, to create the creative accounting, creating fake profits. Profits were still huge, but they made them much higher. And of course, they gave very good stories there. So prospective investors used that information, and then they were able to buy shares that were being offloaded by the owners, man and wife. They completed the entire exercise. And then after completing, of course, they were taking this money, not investing in the company, because now they are selling their own shares. They were taking this money elsewhere. And then within no time, when these new owners were coming to ask what is happening, they realized that this company was bankrupt. They could not even be able to pay salaries and wages. Yeah, they were not able to pay salaries and wages. No, Paul, that's bad. Paul, if you go that approach, I'll say you are exercising male chauvinism, which will be very, very bad. I can see you from far. All right. So then why do you think in this case here, this company collapsed? It's because, number one, and this is the first pillar of corporate governance, fairness. If you'd want this company to be sustainable, run sustainably, then you must always ensure that you are fair. Fairness is the biggest pillar, the middle pillar. Fairness. Be fair. You are doing business with your colleagues. Don't reach a point where you would want to swindle money from them. Know that this cake is very big and enough for everybody. So long as we are working in harmony, everybody will be able to get their fair share of what here, I mean, this cake. So fairness. Most of us, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I know I normally use this bad example, the men of color, this black skin. I mean, when a business starts doing a bit better, you will start believing that this thing should be yours alone. That is very, very bad. Very bad. So fairness, thank you very much, Ntiga. Those 5, we have accountability. And that is why every company should have an accountant. So accountability is about reporting. Then we have transparency. Transparency is key. We should be able to see everything. When people come, in this case of the company as shareholders, don't tell them that you guys, let's wait for the AGM. No. Then we have, for example, responsibility. I mean, let people be responsible. They should be able to respond. So you are in charge of a ministry, fertilizer has been stolen, you may have been aware or not aware, but because you are the biggest man in the house, you should be able to bite that bullet and stay aside. Ingekuwa ni mzungu, like for example, if we look at this guy in Japan, there was a train that just derailed and a few people died. I mean, the Mzungu was, because of the responsibility, they are very responsible. They respond very fast. The guy was able to resign. But I'm telling you, the Africans we are, like right now, I'm using this example. I'm sorry for using this bad example. Do you think if, for example, 500 people were to die today, do you think Ruto can resign? Do you think Ruto can resign if 500 people were to die today? He can't resign. In Kenya, we normally say you would rather die than resign. You would rather die than resign. You would rather die than resign. You will keep on talking about constitution. No. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if it was a white man outside there, those guys will always resign. So responsibility. So you must have a hierarchical organizational structure. Give people, in this case here, there are letters of appointment. In these letters of appointment, ensure that you are saying, you're supposed to report. Have a reporting structure. Have a reporting structure. No, hakuna kiburi. Wewe, hii example, sasa wapatie example. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen here. Effective corporate governance system is crucial for ensuring that a company's assets are used in the best interest of investors and other stakeholders, and for mitigating conflict of interest, particularly between managers and shareholders. Now, the core attributes, we have transparency, clear reporting. Effective corporate governance requires clear, accurate, and timely reporting of the company's financial performance. Open communication. Ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you, for those of us who are married, once we miss this open communication, once we are not communicating very well, that marriage is as good as what here as dead. We must be talking to each other. Of course, I know, like this guy said here, sometimes in this case here, our great wives may decide to keep quiet even for a week for no good reason. That's something I've never understood. Especially when you are young. When you reach now my age, even marriage now becomes very, very good. That's why you're not supposed to chase your person very early. You just stay with them. After some time, when you hit 40, things will start, in this case, becoming very good. Not unless the person is violent. Violence, even if it's at a young age, violence, we say no. But trust you me, if you want this marriage of yours to get to bigger places, let's be very, very high on matters of communication. Let's speak with each other respectively. Which reminds me of this story of this person who never spoke to the wife for so long. This time around, it was a man. He never spoke to the wife, and imagine they're living together. Never spoke to the wife for so long. During those days, of course, there were no alarms. So this man was to travel, and he had a night flight to catch. So he went and wrote a big note. Dear wife, tomorrow I will be required to go to this place, and I would be expected to be at the airport at about 2:30 p.m. Please wake me up. Wake me up at around this. I'm sleeping early. Wake me up at this time. So, of course, wives, these guys have got biological alarms. They're very good. At that exact time, the husband requested to be woken up. The wife was up, but you remember, they have not spoken for so long. So this lady could not even touch this man. So what the great lady did, at the back of that paper, my dear husband, it is this time, maybe 1 p.m. Kindly wake up and catch your flight. Do you think that poor man in this case here woke up at the end of the day? Do you think that poor man woke up at the end of the day? He didn't. And then what do you think was now the fate of the marriage the following day? Do you think those guys continued staying together? No. That was the end of it. So the same case with corporate governance. That is why some of us who love Kenya, when we see the deputy president and the president are not talking, they're talking in this case here from different angles, straight away we know that corporate governance is down, and that can only take the country down. If there is any any advice I would give to our dear president, ego is a killer. If they were together with Gachagua like this, Gachagua may not be the very best. I'm so sure the guy talks quite a lot. He may not be the very best. But now remember during Azimio, remember I was Azimio Dam. I even contributed a lot. Actually, if Azimio had won, by today I'm so sure I would not be teaching, which would have been also disastrous. All right? Ule jamaa alitufanyisha kazi mingi sana. Sisi tunasema tunaenda maandamano, yeye saa 11 kamili amefika ofisi. Anasema leo Raila kanyaga hapa nitapiga, na ukweli gaga anapigwa risasi. That guy was able to, of course he went, it's maandamano. If I were Ruto today, you know, muassign Gachagua. So if I were him, it doesn't matter what this man has done to him. If they want to hold onto this ship steadily, then no Gachagua, no government. I told you that thing in this formula of PO, Kenya minus government. I told you no Gachagua, no government. You may not believe it, but one day, mtaniambia, no Gachagua, no government. Is there anybody who is in the same school of thought like Mwalimu here? Is there anybody who is thinking like Mwalimu? Anybody who is thinking like Mwalimu? But I mean, you mekata. I don't know. We shall overcome. It's called game theory. Politics is a game. Don't empower Ishungwa, who are right now, they're hiding now. These are young people that are hiding. How do you trust these young men? You leave an old man, somebody who has been in the security for so long. Even if, of course, he has his own shortcomings. But the guy was able to bring Uhuru down. If there is anybody who was able to bring Uhuru down, it's Gachagua. So please, I know some of you are friends to our president, and ensure that, so accountability, defined roles and responsibilities, clear defined roles and responsibilities for the board of directors. Everybody must be accountable and responsible. Everybody must be accountable and responsible. So we have fairness, responsibility in terms of ethical conduct. We should be responsible citizens, responsible employees. We should be able to act ethically. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, under being responsible, we must be able to know that we are here to drive a sustainable organization. So, ladies and gentlemen, now that marks the end. So whenever we talk of corporate governance, just look at it, how you're running even your own home. Then you can't forget how companies fail. Because if at home you are not transparent, you are that kind of a husband, ukifika nyumbani unatembea na kasimu hapa. Kasimu huwezi uachilia, utaishi na bibi. Na siku hizi unajua kama simu sasa, watoto wetu wanapenda simu zetu sana. So ikiwa wewe ni yule mtu kwa opaque, maisha yako ni siri, utaishi na nani? Utawachwa. You must be fair. Like for example, I tell these young men, the young men I'm mentoring, like this time around I have about 29 that I mentor professionally, and of course issues of finance. So, and they are very, very open to me. And I'll tell them, when you go to drink beer of 20,000, 30,000, honestly, are you being fair to your family? When you are outside there, clapping. All right, you're drinking, okay, if it's once in a while, maybe there is something you have really, perhaps you've passed an exam like CPA, and then you go there saying that, Mwalimu, now I really need to, at least, imwili, kupigia pole. That one I can understand. But when it's regular, even 10,000, like every weekend, you are very unfair. Your family will collapse. How do you take nyama every day, beer every day, and yet your own kids are kuli nyama? You are unfair. So in terms of corporate governance, you get in this case here, for example, the majority shareholders looking down on the minority shareholders. It's very wrong. Everybody must get the equitable share. That's why we talk of share, earnings per share. If you read that concept of equity, it's about minority and majority. And that is why Gachagua's statement was very bad. This thing of this is a government of shareholders. So you get in this case here, like these young men harboring a lot of resentment. Of course, some of us, we know, like me, I know, it doesn't matter who is in State House. Even if you have a Kikuyu in State House, most of the Kikuyus are suffering with me. It doesn't matter who is in State House, all of us. But there are these Gen Zs who believe that if, for example, we have a challenge in there on top, all challenges are eating manna from heaven. No. But now, to be fair, if I were anybody in government, given now that these guys are really coming up, they're really coming up, they're knowing what is happening. If they tell me to appoint, in this case here, like, say 47 ministers, talk of 24, maybe CSS, and maybe 23 PSS, I'll ensure each community gets one. Like that. All right. I mean, that is how you spread the cake. All right. Because even if you are to put even if it's your brother who is there, I mean, even some of us, we have senior people, but I'm here working so hard. So it's about equity, looking at the whole system, that everybody is feeling proud. Don't have a situation where, and I've seen this in circles like Mwasibu Sako, at times they try in this case to muzzle people not to speak. Like in the AGM, give people an equal chance of talking. If there is somebody in an AGM who wants like to even stand on top of the table and then they complain, give them that opportunity. I would really want to mentor you guys in a way that you'll end up becoming very good CEOs, very good CFOs, very good managing directors. People will be able to think outside the box. Don't go into this thing with that tribal box. You think that if, for example, it's Mwalimu here, that I have to appoint my own kisses to teach for me. I've got no, I mean, how many kisses do I have? Out of staff of 70, I mean, I have TESOLs. I can't even dare to think about my own people around here. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it's about delivery. It's about delivery. If you want to run a company that will be able to outlive you, sustainability, because I'm not saying that I'm bad on my people, but if, for example, I was to get like, say, 10 kisses and then we start talking in kisses at the office, no. If it's merit, fine. But even if it's merit, it won't be like one community. No. Like I have two. Like now, the teacher who teaches BDA early morning, he's called BDA early morning. How do I forget this Islam guy? So I've got two members of Islam. I mean, that's unprecedented. All right, teaching here. All right. So you diversify by doing that. Now those guys are calling their own people, telling them that this is the best place. All right. So it's about equitable. How do you share the cake out? How do you share the cake out? So, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've taken out of your time, but I'm so sure with the stories you have done, you guys, when you get a question on corporate governance, you'll be able to remember for the company to stand. Fairness has to be there. Accountability, transparency. You may forget about everything else, but at least those three I will remember. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you I've remembered something.